Let's talk about video games now.
Don't put in the fact I've shut myself, please.
Hello and welcome to the Video Gamer UK
God's
podcast.
sake.
My name is Chris Bratt, and today I am joined by Stephen Yesamania Burns.
Hello.
Introduced me to WrestleMania. I will always be thankful for that.
Yep.
Why don't I get ID'd in bars? Asks David Scammell.
Oh, I was very upset.
And making his gargantuan return to the Video Gamer UK podcast.
That's a bit rude, Bratters.
It's Tom Ori. What? Why? No.
Gargantuan.
No, because you haven't been here for a while, and it's a big moment.
And why have you never seen
show.
WrestleMania before?
You had to pay for it, and I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
I paid for it this time,
Yeah, I only really watched wrestling
and I
when
paid
I was,
for the pizza,
when I was
Brad.
much younger.
You better start, thinking about a repayment plan.
Listen,
you owe me about £40 million.
my company was payment enough.
It was.
That sounded weird. I regret saying that. But yeah, WrestleMania was fun, and everyone seems very angry about it, so that's good. Including Simon Miller. He's
Yep.
still a little bit upset about what's gone on. Obviously, some sad news today with the Ultimate Warrior as well. He's not in the best of shape. And,
Well, he couldn't handle coming on today.
No.
For that very reason.
No.
That's why he's not here. He's grieving. And I understand that.
But yeah, I guess we'll move on to some video game chatter. What do you say? What do you say, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I'm happy Tom's here. Tom hasn't been here for, it feels like years.
I remember last time Tom was on, everyone was very, very mean to me, so I'm really worried about this podcast. I can't remember what the reason was, probably.
You shouldn't have brought that up.
I shouldn't have now.
Well, we're just going to be mean to you now.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Wow.
Faux show.
Yes.
Video games.
Video games.
I've been playing
What are they
loads
all
this
about?
week, but I can't remember what they are.
Oh, God. That's
So
good.
that's good. Huh.
That's what heavy alcohol abuse will do to you, Dave.
Well, we've got to stop doing that, Christopher.
Yeah, you've been to go and see something which you can't talk about. But
I went to Paris to see a game which I cannot talk about directly, but ask me some questions.
Was it a good video game?
From what I've played, I would say that it's got good ideas, but the execution, in some instances, is a bit lackluster.
Does it have a near future setting or not a near future setting?
It has a setting that may be near and certainly isn't far.
Which publisher is based out of Paris?
Well, there are many, Dave. There are many, and I'm sure that you could probably work out which one it was.
How many sevens would you give it out of 10?
I would give it.
Wow. Come on.
I would give it no sevens because I'm not at liberty to discuss any score
Good.
at this point.
That was the safe
Should
answer
point
that we
out that
needed.
Dave is trolling and has not played the game
Yes.
to the same extent that Steve Burns has.
Okay.
Has anyone played anything that we can talk about and that won't get us into any sort of legal trouble in and around?
I've been playing Oddworld Stranger's
future
Wrath.
setting.
It's about 10 years
Ooh.
old. And it's really good.
And it is really good, yes.
Yeah. I remember paying like £40 for that when it first came out. And now I'm
Cracking.
playing it on my Vita for free.
There you go.
Wow.
The power of the future.
Yeah.
But not for
For
free.
for
Not
free
Dave.
or for a subscription?
You have to pay for the subscription, Dave. People
They've
get very
tricked
angry.
you. God
about
damn it,
this.
Dave.
Yeah, but
PlayStation Plus is a service that you give money for.
that's true. It's better than Xbox Live though, right?
Yeah, we can still. That's still the popular opinion. We can still go with that.
How have they got it so wrong? Who was I speaking? I was speaking to someone on this trip, and they work for an Xbox exclusive magazine. So they have to be quite kind of, if not upbeat, they have to try and put a brave face on it.
It wouldn't be a great magazine if every page was,
Yeah, well, I mean,
God, we've made a terrible career choice.
yeah.
I don't want to.
But even they were like, this is a disaster. Total fucking disaster. It is a mess. And I just don't. Every day there's something new. Now Phil Spencer's the top man, and yet what's going to change?
Well, they did.
He's saying the right things, but then I don't know how much
But he
of it is
wears
genuine.
t-shirts under suit jackets.
But that's most people aren't concerned by this. But
No, I don't think
You
I'm
do that,
concerned.
Burns.
No, I don't.
Oh.
There's
Oh God.
Oh,
Come
dear.
on.
Burns, you walked around E3 with a Step Brothers t-shirt on and a waistcoat.
Dave. Why would I wear a waistcoat which wouldn't show the Step Brothers? That makes no sense.
You do wear a
Don't
Step
come at
Brothers
me.
t-shirt.
Oh yeah, I did wear a Step Brothers
It was
t-shirt.
very nice, actually.
Yes, and I also wore that to the engagement party of some very waspy friends of mine.
What does that mean?
It means
Waspy
like white
friends.
Anglo-Saxon Protestant,
sting
as in
to
all those rich people from Connecticut in movies. They're like on their estates. Anyway, I went to.
You're one of those people.
I'm not one of those people, but they were all wearing like whatever, and I turned up in a Step Brothers t-shirt. My girlfriend had to call the bride-to-be and apologised before we even got there. And
I can just imagine that phone. I'm really sorry.
but
He's wearing
He's
a
very
step.
adamant about
Yeah.
this particular T-shirt.
And then the mother of the bride-to-be at the end of the...
Called off
was
the
it-
wedding because
No,
of your
she
T-shirt
said,
choice.
"Oh, Steve, I really like your T-shirt." And my head turned so slowly towards Lydia and out the smuggest grin. And I was like, this is the best wedding ever. What? Hold on, were we talking about video
Tom,
games?
I'm sorry, the podcast isn't usually like this.
No, it is.
Okay.
Oh, no, it is.
It kind of is.
Tom knows.
Speaking of Microsoft, here we are. Here's the segue. Titanfall has just released its 360
Landed.
version. Yes, and nice. And it's not looking too shit at all, is it?
It's not looking bad at all, my friend.
Is that because I say Luke funny? All right, okay.
No, it is. It's looking all right.
You did a little comparison video yesterday with
Well,
Mr.
Jim
Drinker.
did most of it. But, yeah, no, because obviously there's been theories floating around that they kind of buried the 360 version to try and promote the Xbox One version a little bit more.
I don't think that's really a theory, is it? That's
Well,
what happened. Yeah.
Is it?
Surely.
I'm
you
not
better
sure.
you better be very sure that happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying this is
All
a
right.
theory proposed on the internet. But no, it does. It looks a lot better than expected, I think, by most people. And when they say it runs above 30 frames per second, it often tends to run quite a way above 30 frames per second. And I don't understand why they've... There was a Digital Foundry article, right? And they said it averaged at about, was it 46
I think
frames?
so, yeah.
Which
It
is
looks
not
pretty
bad.
smooth,
That's
doesn't
pretty
it? It looks
good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Jim said yesterday on the little comparison we did, if you are thinking, oh, I'm not sure I should pick up on 360 because I'm getting the lesser version, wouldn't think like that because it seems perfectly acceptable. So, yeah.
But surely, like Titanfall does look really nice on the Xbox One at times, and like surely
It looks a bit brighter. It looks more colourful, doesn't it? I think. But
Yeah, I mean, the 360 version looks like it's lost something. I said it looked a little bit muddy, a little bit...
Texture is a texture. I haven't seen it.
texture quality
Yeah.
is worse. Yeah,
it looks a bit grayer.
it loads quicker, doesn't it? It's quite.
Yeah, 360 version loads quicker than the Xbox One version, which is insane.
Is the same player counts, same Titans, same everything.
Yeah, apparently it's like feature parity.
All right,
So,
that's awesome. That's much better than we were expecting.
Yeah.
Surely.
But this game was originally
originally
for,
current
set
gen.
for current gen, wasn't it? So it's not a massive surprise.
but then, if it was, why did they like hire it out to someone else? Was it, sell it to someone? I'm mixing my words up here.
It's all
You know
right.
what I'm trying to say?
You're mumbling, Dave. Come on now.
They gave it to Bluepoint to do. Why didn't they do it themselves?
Well, they were busy on the super high res Xbox One version.
Well, yeah.
All right, cool.
That's the answer.
There we are.
Thanks for the answer.
Yeah, so Titanfall isn't rubbish on the 360. I played a couple of things actually. I played some Sniper Elite 3, which no one is really that excited about, I've realised. But it was quite fun. I enjoyed it. Have you played the Sniper Elite series, anyone? Mm-hmm. So
Yep.
the last game, apparently, you could, if you drew out the map of how your character moves, it's pretty much a bunch of corridors disguised as
Yeah, essentially.
more of an open world to explore. This one it is all about the freedom. It doesn't look too much better than the previous game, from what I can tell.
It's
But
a next gen game, Bratters.
it's very much a cross-gen game in every aspect.
Very much across gen.
But in terms of like when you approach objectives, there's always several routes to take. There's different ways of going about destroying them, and it's that feeling that you're playing it differently to other players.
Are you always just going to go, I'm going to snipe that barrel?
Well, that's the thing. That was my initial thought as you're playing it and as you are making these decisions. And then you do realize that every anti-aircraft gun that we approached, and you can see the video we've put up with some gameplay from when we checked it out, every anti-aircraft gun had an explosive item next to it, made even more apparent by the fact that when you bring your binoculars up to like mark and tag enemies, anything that's explosive is glowing red. So you look at the anti-aircraft gun and it's go, oh, there's an explosive barrel or an explosive shell or an explosive thing that I could shoot with a sniper rifle. Not the most fun way to play it, and there is room to experiment and kind of you can sneak in and set a fuse or try and make sure that you make a distraction to get guards out of the way so you can approach it differently. But it's hard when you know that you can just shoot it with your sniper rifle.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a bit of a soft
And
spot
not
for
soft- not soft
Sniper
for it.
Elite. I quite enjoyed Sniper Elite 2.
Mhm.
I think it's just the bullet cam stuff. It doesn't get old.
Is this the one where it does like X-rays and stuff?
Yeah.
The,
And do you remember, was it Die Hard on the GameCube or something like that?
Vendetta.
Oh, Vendetta, that was it. And that had a bullet cam. And I was like, at the time, I'm like, wow, really good. And obviously, Max Payne does it pretty well.
Yeah, it's still got that. I don't think they were ever going to drop it.
It's just the setting, though, that bores me a little bit. It doesn't really look like it's got much
so
flavour.
it's
Do you know what I mean?
It's based in Africa, but you're still fighting Nazis.
It looks like it's based in a canyon from Red Dead Redemption.
For that level that we played, yes, is a bunch of canyons. If they wanted to show off how visually impressive the Xbox One version is, that probably wasn't the best level.
Is that what you played it on? Is it?
Yes, although that's a fair enough question because it does look like a past gen game from the video we put up. But there we are.
What percentage is snipering? Didn't look like I saw much snipering.
Well, I think that might have more to do with me because I preferred playing that game, sneaking around. And
for a game about sniping, there's lots of up close stabs.
I like stabbing people. I liked killing people with a silenced pistol because whenever I started using the sniper rifle, it's a massive liability because it's very loud and you can disguise it. So when there's so with the anti-aircraft guns, they'll be firing on like every 30 seconds, whatever it will be, and you can disguise your shot as they fire, so people won't hear it. But there's a chance that will go wrong, and I had a few mishaps with my timing there. But yeah, I ended up feeling that was the fun way to play it, sniping people and seeing the ridiculous kill cams and what have you. But the safer way to play it was me to sneak around and play Pistol Elite 3.
Didn't seem that safe, though, did it? At one point, Braz, didn't seem that safe.
What? You've seen...
I was shown a clip that I'm not sure if it made the final cut.
Probably not.
But there's a clip of you creeping along a rooftop, it seemed to be. And you thought, oh, I see that guy over there on the other roof. I'll sneak up behind him and have my, do my thing to him.
My way with him, yeah.
Well, I was going to say that, and I changed it.
All right, good.
But what we didn't realise was there was a gap in the roof. There were two separate buildings. And so in your attempt to sneak up behind him, you accidentally fell off the roof.
No, that's to the untrained eye, that is, what it appears to have happened. But I realised...
To the untrained eye, I fell off the roof.
As I was running towards... there was a jump to make. As I was running towards it, I just kind of... I noticed he might have been smoking or something, and I could just tell that he was about to turn around. So I thought, if I jump over there, I'm in hot water. So use what's in front of me, drop down immediately, and come out from a different angle.
This sounds a lot like the bullshit.
That sounded like incredible bollocks.
Well, you guys aren't Sniper Elites. Wait.
I reviewed Sniper Elite 2, so I know about this series, and that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And really, I'm surprised they changed the sneaking, because the first couple of missions of Sniper Elite 2, there's one where you have to get into like a tall building, and then you're looking over, and they have the same thing, the anti-aircraft guns. And you shoot people, and it's really cool. You see their spleens and balls getting shot off. And you're like, man, World War II was ace. I don't see what people's problems are with it.
Wow.
But
Dear.
but then the mission that follows it, you have to sneak into some missile base and set fuses, and it's just impossible. So have they
that mission was
changed?
dog.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
That's the only one I remember.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, the sneaking stuff it's still fairly basic. You have it's very obvious how much noise you're making, and that plays a big part in whether or not you'll alert the enemies. And you have an icon at the bottom, which is like an eye. When it's fully open, it means you're very visible. But when you're in the shadows and crouching, it's like a slit, so you know that you're going to be harder to detect. And it's that kind of stuff. You have a rock that you can throw to make noise and distract people, but it's that kind of really basic stuff. So yeah, although I preferred playing the stealthy stuff, it is still very rudimentary.
Okay. Is it still miles better than Sniper Ghost Warrior?
Yes.
Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 is one of the shittest games I've ever played. And I would the person who signed it off.
I still think this.
Wow.
I still think Sniper Ghost Warrior is marginally a better name than Sniper Elite. I think.
No.
No. You're getting emotional about this, though.
I am. I'd like to apologise for
The sneaky bastard.
Don't want to anymore.
God,
It's a Family Guy quote.
This is going to be one of those things that you approach me quietly after the podcast and go, Brett, do you want to just
I've already got plenty of those in mind. By the way.
Well, it was a joke, but I realised that I said it in a way that didn't sound like it was a joke. So I would say, producer person, no more Sniper Ghost Warrior. Thank you, the office of Stephen W. Burns.
They sell they go crazy for that.
Well, okay, how popular is the Sniper Elite series? Because
Well, I don't know about Sniper Elite, but Ghost Warrior was pretty popular, wasn't it?
Sniper Elite 2, I think, sold all right.
yeah, it just
It's
felt
like one
weird.
of the rare kind of mid-tier games that don't really exist anymore.
People love sniper
That's
games.
a very good point.
Casual
And it had Hitler
games players
DLC.
love sniper games.
You could shoot Hitler.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we had video stuff that we captured from that level, and I think people had been given video at an event before, but we had a big bunch of gameplay from it,
Are you about to cry?
and no one got excited about Sniper Elite 3.
Because you were playing it, Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They clicked on it. No.
People think I hate games, but I don't. I just hate when Bratters plays games.
Because this is a B-tier game, we sent the B team to cover it, didn't we?
Oh,
meow.
Tom. That's the magic of Tom Ori.
That was
Just waits.
that was so good.
Bang.
Oh man. Okay. Anyone want to jump in with another video game? I think we've
Another
Sniper
video
Elite.
game that I've been playing.
FIFA.
So all I play is
FIFA.
FIFA.
So I'm not gonna blather on about FIFA
All right.
too much. What I am gonna say is that I changed the sliders so you can change the parameters, and I put passing speed up to 65, and the game is much better as a result. That's all.
I might try that.
Yeah.
Because passing is quite slow.
Yeah,
FIFA,
and especially when a ball kind of drops to it's headed forward, you just want to cushion past that off, and the ball kind of just dribbles off your foot. Now, just knocking the whole thing around is great.
I've actually played. I can link into FIFA here. I played the next generation of football games.
You didn't, did you? What
I
is
did.
this?
Don Bradman Cricket?
No,
DBC?
That's the next generation of cricket games. Very easy to mix them up. Connect Sports Rivals. Yes,
blimey.
their soccer segment is particularly. If you've got any problem with
Particularly
passing,
well animated.
yes, I mean we described it in the video as fluid, super fluid, not stationary. Lots of big words being thrown
Super
around.
fluid.
Yeah,
Is this the 90s?
you should have seen it, man. Those passes were.
Are you writing for
Were incredible.
Smash Hits magazine? Shall we bring back Smash Hits magazine? Does anyone listening to this know
Still
what
buy
Smash Hits?
magazine. He's a target market.
Well, if I'm the target market for Connect Sports Rivals, then they've done something terribly wrong because that game is bad. I kind of like some of the stuff they're doing technically. Like the character creation stuff is really fun to see
The champion
happen.
stuff looks really good.
Yeah, it's that you can see there. That's much better than the old Connect. Could ever dream of. Some of the the way it monitors your hands in particular, like when you grab the bowling ball, you actually pick it up, and when you were doing the climbing thing, I'm not sure that the past gen Connect could keep up with that. But the games are so uninteresting and dull and terrible, and oh god,
I brought this up with Brett while he was playing it for review, and he said technically, it's really impressive.
It's not though, is it? It fails at being good.
it's not.
Motion game, so it's technically bad, surely.
Why? What do you mean?
Because it doesn't work very well.
I thought Brett was
So,
saying
well,
it does work
I mean,
well.
some of the stuff works well, but I don't think
But
I don't think it
no
pushes
one plays.
it.
No one
that
plays
much.
football stood on the spot,
Yeah.
kicking one leg forward in a weird way. That is
I don't know. There are plenty of Premier League footballers, so I think Valencia.
No, I think the football game in particular just shows off how little they're trying to do with
or how
that-
limited Connect actually is in terms of game.
Possibly. I don't, it was just the opposite of fun.
Essentially, Connect should be used as a peripheral that enables you to get other shit done while you're playing games. So take a conference call, or it's like, I'm playing a game. I'm playing the new Gears of War. I'm playing it for 7 hours. I'm hungry. Bang! Up comes Domino's, and you're like, "Yo, Domino's, hit me up with a pizza." And they're
I've
like,
got a phone for that.
Yeah, but then you have to stop playing.
Yeah, you have to use hands.
Exactly. Are you an idiot, Dave?
Come on, this is
what
the
we're getting
future,
at?
Dave.
Dave,
Are people is the world
keep up,
really
Dave.
that far gone that people can't pause a game and pick up a phone and go,
Who is this
I'll
man?
have a pizza?
Who is this man
people
that's
don't-
replaced David Scammell?
Dave, the world is. I think I've said this before, but I mean,
Whatever happened to cavemen hunting dinosaurs
You're
and
about to
shit?
say everybody's dead already. Is this coming?
No. About you must have had that experience where you got the big new game, whichever one it was for you, and there's probably a few examples, and then you just in time just kind of whisked forward, and you didn't even realize it. Like when my friend Dave, not this Dave, another Dave, got Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time for Christmas, and I went to his house,
This Christmas.
No, for 1998.
I don't know why
yeah.
that's funny, because that'd be a lovely gift to receive.
He is
Sorry,
quite
carry
far
on.
behind. But yeah, so I knocked on the door on Christmas Day. So you just go around and see what new games he's got. His dad was like, "Oh, yeah, he's upstairs. We haven't seen him all day." And I opened the door. Well, knocked first. There was no answer. I was like, "All right." Opened the door really slowly, and there was just a television.
You were hit by an aroma.
They're just blaring out like ocarina bullshit. And it took about 20 seconds for young Dave to even realise I was there. And his head turned around to look at me in the same pace and with the same deathly pallor as the first zombie in Resident Evil. And he was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm going to go because you don't look well."
I shouldn't have seen
so this is amazing. And then he just turned back really slowly. And I never really saw him again after that. But yeah, Dave, what was your game for that? Mine was GTA 3. Like 6 hours went by and I thought it was about 15
Yeah,
minutes.
probably GTA 3 for me, actually.
Exactly. So why put the pad down? You could just...
The original Gears of War.
I did that in one setting.
I played
sitting. Sorry.
all night,
Yeah, me
overnight,
too.
till about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that general ram fight at 5:30 a.m. wasn't
Well,
pleasant.
no, I played multiplayer. Rather than
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was addicted to that.
Yeah, shotgun.
Original Gears.
shotgun
See,
nerd.
in multiplayer, you can't pause the game. You need connect. You need to
Exactly.
connect to service all your needs whilst you're shotgunning people.
Either way, when we're desperately trying to shoehorn in an ad for Domino's, it seems,
Yeah.
as the reason Connect needs to happen, it's fucked.
I was so happy when we were doing the character creation stuff. I was like, oh, this is like, it's doing stuff
You
that's
actually
impressive.
happy? Properly happy?
Yeah. Have you seen the video?
I have. It didn't look that. It looked
Tom, your priorities
okay.
have changed though now.
I want Connect to be able to do something impressive, so I can
What
go,
if Connect-
Steve, come and look at this, come and look at this.
Yeah, but you want that too much.
What if they did that for like GTA and they made you the player character? Would that be pretty cool?
Wouldn't really work though, would
No,
it?
because you need the character to have the
Saints
right
Row,
personality.
maybe.
I don't want them to have my. If they had my
You know what I
personality
mean.
in GTA, it would be a very, very.
All right, GTA was a bad example, but you know what I mean.
Like football games,
third-person
maybe,
games.
or like a virtual pro in FIFA.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Because I tried that before. Do you remember the Rainbow Six Vegas face thing? That was dreadful.
Oh yeah,
And
and,
the whole
there was a
perfect
pack-in with a
dark
little camera.
camera thing.
I've got that camera, but that was pulled, wasn't it? Because Nintendo
Perfect dark
were like,
one,
"Oh, I don't want you shooting your friends in the face."
Teachers, wasn't it, and stuff? They were scared people would take pictures of.
Classic. Oh yeah,
Oh,
man, that's awesome.
Speaking of Nintendo, the only strike we got whilst playing Connect Bowling was when I realized that I needed to go back into a trance-like state. So I grabbed a Wii controller, pretended that I jumped back in time. When was Wii Sports first?
8 years ago, I think. Was it 8 years?
2006, wasn't it?
Yeah, I pretended that I wasn't holding anything. You have to trick Connect. It's not happy about the idea of you holding a Wii controller. I don't know why. And perfect strike.
Bang.
That was all we needed to see of bowling. That was it.
Exactly. I think I'm a bit annoyed that wasn't the review. So after this, I'm gonna have a word with Brett.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah.
it's not-
Oh, actually, speaking of Brett, he's been to a announcement thing that we can talk about. All right. This podcast will go up at about the same time as the announcement's made, I think.
Then why not?
That sounds like the solid kind
Yeah.
of time frame you need.
Good
for
Put it up-
intel.
Put it up 10 minutes before. People won't get to this part by then.
That's a very
Yeah.
good point. That's a very good point.
You know, if
Bang.
people skip ahead.
What's he seen?
Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
No, that I'll have you know that game doesn't exist.
What?
It doesn't exist. That's bad journalism.
What are you talking about?
There is no Borderlands sequel.
No,
Pre-sequel.
let me break it down.
Okay.
So, it's the sequel to Borderlands, but the prequel to Borderlands 2.
So it's an interquel.
Bam. Nice.
Is that rubbish?
That was
But
awesome.
Is that an official name?
I think interquel is what Wikipedia has, those weird sequels that
That's it.
exist between.
That's a cool word.
So it's like the first half of the Resident Evil 3 starts between the first and second games, and then the last half of it is after. It's all very confusing.
Should we get him to tell us exactly
Should we
what?
get him in?
what
Is he
went
coming
down?
in right
so,
now?
welcoming Brett to the studio. Someone should probably go and get Brett.
I'll go. No, because I need a
Yeah.
Wii.
Okay, you have a Wii. So Dave, you're gonna have to share your microphone here.
Hang on. Are we recording this bit? Because I just made
Yeah.
a fucking complete bloomer out of myself.
I'm not gonna that bit. That won't
This is
fit
not on
there.
the podcast.
What did
good.
you say?
I asked if Australia did things.
Welcoming Brett Phipps. Hooray!
Hey.
Here he is. Here he is. Oh,
to sit on my knee, son.
oh, what an odd thing.
I'll tell you what I want for Christmas.
Okay, so
hang on, I can feel everything between that. Hang on, look, you're going to have to sit on
I'm
it.
sitting on that.
Look, put your leg across,
Yeah.
mate. Here we
This is why we
go.
need video. Dave, oh no, that feels weird.
I've got.
Sorry, everyone.
Brett Phipps,
Yes.
you've seen Borderlands: The Interquel.
What?
The Interquel. We've renamed it,
Oh, is that the new name?
and you brought a phone in as well, haven't
We're
you?
gonna-
You brought a phone in. Get that phone away from that microphone, Brett Phipps.
What phone?
I can hear
This
it.
is dreadful. Steve Burns is taking.
Okay,
Don't know what we're talking about.
so Brett,
Yes.
what's all this Borderlands stuff about?
So
Break it
it's-
down.
Sorry, I got my arm around you for some reason. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
you have.
Carry on.
Well, so I didn't say anything about
This
it.
is so
I didn't say a word. It's basically a.
Speak into the microphone. Speak
Into
to the
the mic,
microphone.
into the mic.
And don't start with
Yes.
basically.
It's a set between Borderlands.
We know
and Borderlands
that.
2.
We know
Yeah.
that, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then he asked me to talk about it.
Thanks, Brett Phipps. Thank you, everyone.
It's what I got to see of it. The level that we saw was on the moon and the
Right.
moon base.
Okay, good.
Mm.
There's
Moon?
Good start.
no, not our moon.
Oh, not Amy.
Nazis, any point?
I might take my hand away.
How on the other side?
There's this obviously because there's no atmosphere. You need oxygen now. That is a lootable item that will slowly deplete as you run around. And people wear visors which you can then shoot off in order to deplete their health with a headshot.
Okay.
Oddly though, fire weapons still work quite well, like flame grenades and stuff. even
Don't
though
question it. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
There's
fine.
no oxygen.
Yeah. No, it's
No,
fine.
it's
fine.
special.
That is fine.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
As part of the Borderlands
It's
canon.
Borderlands.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
There's a cool new weapon though. Like there's a shield where there was a base set up, and these turrets drop down and start shooting. Obviously, is to defend the area, and you put up this shield that absorbs all the fire of the bullets. And then when a certain timer runs out, you can throw the shield back with all the power that you've absorbed from the fire. And when you upgrade the skill tree, you can then use it to ricochet between a bunch of enemies,
Right.
which look really cool.
Surely by one new weapon you mean 800 million new weapons.
Well, I didn't get to see all of it. No, I mean like a new mechanic.
So you haven't seen all the weapons that are in Borderlands,
No.
the pre-sequel? Mm.
There's also new weapon effects like cryo. You can now freeze enemies. There's lasers now, which range from the Star Wars pew pew level to a massive constant stream effect laser that you can then just sweep across enemies. Enemies have Australian accents.
Right, good
As
feature.
well.
The
Well, it's made by. It's made by 2K Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than Gearbox.
oh
I can't
right,
now talk
is that true?
into it,
I didn't realise.
That is true.
Yeah, it's not being made by Gearbox.
And the story wise, it's with it being between those two games, is it something to do with Handsome Jack? That was the leak,
Yeah,
right?
It's Handsome Jack's story, and you play as you've got 4 characters that you can choose from, which are, I'm sure none of them are new, but they're from Borderlands and Borderlands 2 at some point. There's Wilhelm, Claptrap, the Claptrap that you can play
Crikey.
as. The camera's much lower when you play as Claptrap, though we didn't get to see it.
Everyone's going to play as him.
Yeah, of course you are. He's going to have the
Yeah.
best dialogue.
Athena and the
Warrior Princess.
That's
Isn't that Xena?
Oh, yeah.
Athena is Battlestar Galactica pilot name.
Does
There you are.
Claptrap have proper arms?
Yeah, he's got arms. He's always had arms.
He does. I
Yeah,
haven't really
yeah.
played it enough. Can he hold a gun?
Yeah, I did get. He did pop in at one point and just start shooting up one of the mini bosses that you get at each checkpoint. Just it was like
Did
a
he say
defender.
anything whimsical and funny?
He didn't say a word when he popped in. Actually,
What?
no, he
This is
didn't say a word.
That's terrible.
But he wasn't being controlled by a player at the time. To be fair,
All right.
he was. I think he was like an assist that got called in. So and they weren't talking about Claptrap at all.
So it's more Borderlands. The story somehow fits in between 1 and 2.
Yeah, it looks the exact
There's
same
some
as well.
bits on the moon, which sounds kind of cool. You loot oxygen. That makes sense. And yeah, more Borderlands, I guess.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Is it also on the moon?
No,
Or is it
there's
just
other
that stage?
locations as well, but they wouldn't talk about where
The
else
sun.
you can go.
Oh, I love video
sun.
game PR. It's amazing. As if knowing where the next part of the game is set
It's going to
Yeah.
ruin everything.
will suddenly be like, oh my life, they know it's set in a desert. Oh my, how will they ever recover?
It's also 360, PS3, PC only, isn't it? It's not next gen.
What? I thought we were past that. I thought we were past
Well, we're not, Braz.
past gen.
Clearly,
Exclusives.
Bratters, we're not.
Do you
don't
know more?
know this for sure?
No.
But Gearbox are clearly making a next gen game.
Yeah.
Well, you
They
want to
said
watch
that.
yourself, Tom.
We don't know this for sure.
No,
Randy
they said that.
Pitchford will
They
be
said
in
that.
here.
Yeah,
He will be in here.
Australia are making this one because it's got a big user base, and they think they'll buy this game.
They're announcing a new IP this year.
That's what he said on Twitter. But he does like going back on what he said on Twitter.
Whoa. Correct.
All right. Okay. Well,
That's going back on previously released assets, don't they, as well? But
let's keep this civil. There's a new Borderlands game. It sounds good, but
It sounds like a Borderlands game.
to me, it sounds like a case of, shit, we haven't got a Borderlands next gen game ready yet. Borderlands does all right. Who can we put on
this
something
is
to?
Arkham Origins, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just so the podcast can have some kind of context
Excuse
of
me,
what's
Brett.
going on here, I'm going to take a photo of these two chaps, Dave and
the
Brett, and that will appear on the video at some point. So you got
And
that
yet-
to look forward to.
If everyone remembers, a few minutes ago when Brett has had a go at me for bringing in a phone, and he's sat right next to the computer.
In airplane mode.
Yeah.
Oh, don't lie to
Motherfucker.
me.
Yeah, thank you for Borderlandsing us up, Brett.
That's okay.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. Bye.
Aye.
B team, like I said earlier.
Oh, what? That's a horrible thing to say.
Yeah, but his name has a B in it.
Yeah, best team.
So does mine, but I'm not on the B team.
Did he add anything to this conversation other than the information that was leaked like earlier in the
David.
You're an evil man.
David.
That was horrible.
I'm upset now. There was no need for that.
That
Right,
came,
I've been
that
playing
came out
games.
harsher than I expected it to.
It was horrible.
I just remembered a game that I've been playing,
All right, good.
but I'd forgotten it because it was so dull.
My knees are all moist.
It is Call of Duty, Devastation, Ghosts,
Oh,
DLC thingy.
The Predator one.
It's absolute guff. So you playing this map? It's like a jungle temple-y map.
Yep.
It's rubbish. And then suddenly it's like someone's going to become the Predator. You know, amazing.
The DLC is guff or the Predator bit is guff?
Both mainly.
I read that because they've got that new alien hunting mode thing, haven't they? What's that called?
Extinction.
Extinction. They've
I
changed
thought-
the name of that
I
now
thought
as well.
people really like the new bit of Extinction. No,
Oh, really?
I actually quite liked the Extinction is the best part of it, the as it was in the Onslaught, I believe, the last one. Anyway, back to the Predator. So you become the Predator,
do you get the lasers?
and then I don't know.
You
I
better do,
didn't become the
surely.
Predator because I was getting smashed by too many Call of Duty war geeks. Anyway,
That is the most immature sentence you could
That's
put
not
into
the
that.
most immature sentence.
It was.
No.
It was pretty immature.
are we going to start a TV show called
Don't
The
look at
Most
me.
Immature Sentence?
Yes.
Anyway, shut up. And then he
That
ran
was
around a
pretty
bit.
immature.
The Predator ran around a bit and he went invisible and then he died. And I was like, oh my life. I think I described the game as being essentially what happens when marketing runs out of control and that the ideas ball isn't being thrown around
No.
as slowly deflating in a corner somewhere.
It makes me concerned about what's coming next.
Oh, does it, Dave? Why would that be, Dave?
Because if they're almost parodying it now,
Where are they
well,
going to
it's
go
not
next?
a parody, is it? But it's just bizarre scenarios, really,
Who
being
was
put
it?
into a franchise that was once very
Like
sort of-
respected. Was
Call
it?
of Duty 2 were really
Oh, my life, yeah.
harrowing.
And I think the way that I view it now with all these kind of crossovers is, I think years and years ago, James Cameron, he was asked about whether there'd be, before there was one, an Alien versus Predator movie.
Right.
And he said, I think, paraphrasing, that anytime you cross over, your franchise is dead. Anytime you have to have someone else's star wattage that has to come in and boost you a little bit, then you or they
It's
or
like that
both are dead.
Scooby-Doo film that's got wrestlers in it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Miller's got that one, hasn't he?
It's like the
course
Power
he
Rangers
has.
episode where they met the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, exactly. On the fade. It's, you know, it's like when supergroups form. It's like, oh, yeah, well, both our bands are kind of dying, so let's just get...
Let's die together.
Yeah, exactly. Supernova in it. But yeah, it was not worth the cash. Most of the new maps, the 4 new maps for MP were rubbish. I'm boring myself. Can we talk about something else? Like, my mind is elsewhere.
I'll tell you what surprised me, actually, that I tried the other day, because I thought this was going to be utter garbage. Unit 13.
That is garbage, Dave.
Have you played it?
Yes.
Is that Vita?
That's
Yeah.
rubbish.
Is it rubbish?
Yes.
I'm quite enjoying it.
It's
It is a mobile
It's one of the
game,
dullest
essentially.
games I've ever
No, but it is
played.
it's essentially like an Angry Birds shooter. That's how I'm kind of playing it. Like
It's
it's
like-
a series of little mini
Yeah.
levels.
It's clearly. I mean, they made a game that was designed. No one's going to care about us talking about this game. But
Well, you
it's
say
like,
that.
It's like they definitely made a game that was built around being pick up and play for
Yeah.
like 15 minutes or whatever. But because of that, it's so boring. It's like
I don't know.
It is.
See, I'm enjoying playing it on the train.
But then you liked
Is that just
COD on the Vita, didn't you?
No, I didn't like COD on the Vita.
I got that free, Dave, and never redeemed the code. So I think it might have expired
Did
by
you get
now.
a bundle, did you, with that in it?
Yeah.
Oh no, COD declassified. No, that was rubbish. But it wasn't quite as rubbish as I was expecting it to be.
I'll tell you what is good, Dave, and what I was recommending to various journos on this trip when they were mouthing off about the series in question. Resistance 3.
Yes.
They were like, "Oh, Resistance is shit."
Yes.
I was like, "Have you played Resistance 3?" They're like, "No." Like, Resistance 3 is amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's just like The Last of Us, but without any of the bullshit.
It's funny you mentioned that because I went back to it again over the weekend because I'd like to replay it.
It's like Half-Life. It feels like Half-Life 2.
It does, but it feels a little bit going back. I don't remember feeling this first time. But now I'm replaying it. It has a kind of weird tone at times, like it's super dark.
Yeah, and you play as Don Draper in it.
Yeah,
Like,
Pardon?
but
yeah, the
then
main character looks exactly like Don
some
Draper.
of the voice acting and like the guy that's with you for part of it, it's almost comedy. It's like a kind of look over there.
But then it all just what I love about the game is that it just shifts tones very quickly. So at the start, you're in that kind of enclave of last human survivors. You're like, yeah, we're actually like winter's coming and we're all dead. So you need to off you go on the hero's quest, and then you have that bit in the boat, which is very Half-Life, and then later on, so mild spoilers. You find a like hyper-religious convent of people who believe that Satan is living in the mine below where and they have to get something from out of there, but they send their best people in. It's like in Star Wars: The Clone Wars when they land on the planet. So you have to go in, and Satan turns out to be like this massive alien thing, but it becomes a really good survival horror because you can't fight it. And it pulls out all the tricks, like, you have to escape from the mine. Really good. And then in the end, you have like obvious sci-fi trappings. But Resistance 3, underrated.
It's super
Buy it.
Underrated by some, but I think I gave it a 9.
Well, Tom, there you
Tom's on
go.
board.
Head of
Resistance.
curve.
We've had this discussion before. Resistance 2 was dire.
That's a Michael Bay movie. It's
The
just...
end of Resistance 2 is just unbelievably bad.
Is it Resistance 3 where you go into the prison as well and you have to fight your way out of the... Oh my... Right, I'm going to play Resistance 3 right now. It's so good. It's so good. Buy it. It'll cost £3. And they might even just pay you to take it.
They took all the servers offline this week, though.
No one gives a shit about
That's
that.
depressing. You've saddened the end of that.
You don't need them.
You don't need them.
You don't need these people. Yourself.
All right.
And
good.
Don Draper.
They're not going to ask me what I played. Bratters.
I left this quite an open, like, just
Yeah.
jump in and talk about what you've been playing.
I was
and,
waiting
and
for you to
wave your
skip
arms around
over
like
me,
this.
and I was going to be mean about you skipping me.
Tom Ari,
Yeah.
what have you been playing?
Not much, Bratters.
Right.
Not much.
know.
I did play Mercenary Kings,
Oh yeah, that's
I played it for about
which
5
is-
minutes.
PS Plus.
which is the PlayStation Plus freebie PS4 this month.
so
It's well, I was going to say it's shit. It's not shit. It's kind of like lots of games that look retro. People go, "Oh, it's going to be really good. It looks retro," but it isn't. It just looks like a game you might like, but it isn't.
yeah,
Like
people,
Blood Dragon.
people seem to be very surprised by what the game actually ends up being because it's not just.
I thought it was going to be like a Metal Slug, and it's not.
It's
not
supposed to be
really.
slower paced, right? And
It's just I just found it a bit dull and it didn't control particularly well. Like there's a delay on jumping and stuff. It doesn't feel like a really good old game. It feels like a new bad game that looks old.
is it got a thing? Has it got a shtick? What makes it different than?
I don't know.
them-
Is it as good as Broforce?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Broforce, I
Why
haven't
should
played
I?
Broforce, but Broforce looks so much more
Broforce is
entertaining
excellent.
than this does. I mean, I'm sure there are people that will go, "Oh, Mercenary Kings is brilliant," but I don't like it.
You didn't have fun with it.
I'll tell you what you'd like.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Narco Terror.
Narco
No.
Terror, yes.
Dave, don't do that.
Shut up,
It's
Bratters.
so bad. It's so bad.
Me and Burns, we enjoyed it.
No, you didn't. You enjoyed winding me up about it.
I wasn't winding you up. I was being genuine. Did find the whole father-daughter thing weird, but never mind.
And there's plenty of other games that do Narco Terror better than Narco Terror. But yeah, that's fine.
Like Mercs on the Mega Drive.
Like Mercs on the Mega Drive. Sure. Absolutely.
Do you hear a bus story? A little quick one.
I'd
one.
love to.
People do. I saw some tweets about this.
I was on the bus yesterday. This was quite a current story.
Right.
And we got just before Purley. Mm-hmm. People don't know Purley, it doesn't really matter. It's a town.
It's a town.
And it's not a great town. And we
Right,
just-
rhymes
the
with
bus-
swirly, the
Yeah,
word.
it does. And the bus just pulled up to the bus stop, and then a car came around the outside of the bus because he wanted to go past it. But then a woman, coming the other way, had pulled over to like the middle lane where you
Right.
pull into to turn.
This is sounding dangerous.
And she was like, clearly the two cars met. And she got out of her car and said, "You fucking asshole,
Shit.
get out of the road."
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yeah, she
God.
got out of the car, stood up and shouted at him. Everyone on the bus could hear it. It was quite loud. But she was right because he had no business.
What was the general
being there.
reaction in the bus at that time? Was any...
It was just like, this is quite good.
Were there children about? Were they?
There was a child
Were
sat
they
in front of me,
appalled?
actually.
Did you jump and just put your hands
No.
over their ears.
Did
No.
it stir up the hoodlums to start going, yeah, what's going on?
There's not many on the buses at the moment because it's
No.
the school holidays, isn't it? So
Oh, yeah.
they don't go to school, but they're not on the buses either when there's no school. So
I saw an argument. It's bus stories. This was last night as I was getting a bus from Clapham to Clapham Junction.
Yep.
That someone dinged the bell and then they didn't stop. The bus driver didn't stop. And the bus was quite full, so I was actually standing towards where the driver is, which you're not technically allowed to do, but because, whatever.
your mates with the driver.
Yeah, I was the driver. And so this guy came up out as they got to the next bus stop, and he was like, "Excuse me, mate, can I get past you?" And I was thinking, well, the door to get out is behind. Anyway, he was a posho. You could tell he had all the dollars.
Classic.
Burns
Anyway,
just calls him a posho. This is
He
gonna be
slid
interesting.
past me, and he said to the driver, "You didn't feel like stopping at that last stop, didn't you?" And I was like, "Yes, here we go, bang!" So I grabbed the bloody handle. I was like, I better strap myself in.
This can be one hell of a ride.
And the driver said, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
He said, "I dinged the bell." He said, "Oh no, you pressed the disabled bell." And the guy went, "Well, what difference does that make?" He said, "Are you disabled?"
Oh man,
And I was like, the twists and turns.
I was not expecting that to be his counter argument.
Exactly. And suddenly,
Sounds like an episode of Curb.
and suddenly the guy went, "Well, no, obviously I'm not disabled." And he went, "Well, you shouldn't have pressed the disabled button then." And then the guy went, "Well, I still don't understand what difference it makes." And then the bus driver went, "Yeah, well, people press that button all the time by accident." And suddenly the guy was just shut down by this incredible logic or lack of that was running. And imagine the driver probably didn't see anyone he thought was disabled getting on, so maybe thought they pressed the button in error. So that kind of follows. But then Posho Man gave him the biggest sneer.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was like Triple H level sneer. And then he harumphed off the bus.
As they tend to do.
He
Was he dressed like a king as well?
He had like blonde hair.
It's a WrestleMania
He had like
show.
expensive haircut, and he had like some looked like a hunting jacket. It looked like
right.
he was. It looked like he was just stepped off his estate where he hunted poor people for sport on the weekends, and he was annoyed that his Jaguar had broken down, and he had to get on this filth machine,
Public wagon
with the great
with
unwashed.
the plebeians. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Tom Orry's behind.
exactly. Tom Orry's on another bus somewhere going, swearing. So yeah, buses, don't get on them. Do not get on them.
All right, good. Well, I think we've covered. Unless anyone else has got any other bus stories, I'm just going to carry on
What an
talking, so
incredible
no one
video games
actually
podcast this is.
carries on. Shall we move on to some questions?
Go.
Right. So, if you'd like to send in a question to the podcast, we send a bit of a tweet out before we record, but it's an unsociable time in the morning, so you might miss it. So go on the forums. There's a post. You can put a question in, like this one here from Caniper, who asks, "Where the fuck is #flatmates?"
Yeah, where is it? I want to know.
Nobody wants to see #flatmates.
What do you mean, Tom?
Nobody wants to see it. No one's interested in
Tom,
it.
you were a big fan of it when it was. In fact, it was largely your idea, Tom. That
Yes, but as I've thought about it, I realise that nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see Miller and Brat in a house together. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody's
Okay.
interested.
I do.
It wouldn't be fun.
I want to go for dinner.
Well, Dave does.
You can do Brat and Scam will go for dinner. People would rather see that, I'm sure.
Flatmates with
Can we
you
do
two
that?
would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, not with me. Nobody wants to see me.
Let's do it. Let's make that a regular.
No,
See
no
who
one
in
wants
it?
to see Miller in it.
No, right, okay. Just promote that. What you said. No one
No one wants to see me.
Tom Murray in it.
People don't want to see Tom in it either.
That'd be
But
ridiculous.
they don't see Miller. They don't want to see me. Tom Murray in it either. Nobody wants to see either of those things.
I think
How are you getting on, Tom? With speaking of living at home, how are you getting on with your kid? How's that one
Yeah,
going?
my
young
kid is great.
child.
My
Is
kid
he
is
good?
great. Yeah, he's getting big.
What's
now.
his name?
He's getting
Yeah.
big. My kid's name is Table.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strong Table Ori.
like this table
Yeah.
here. in front of me.
Strong Table Ori, my
No,
child.
hold on. No, Tom's right. I don't think that we should actually be giving out the name of Tom's son on the podcast. I don't think he should.
no.
be.
No, his real name is Jacob, obviously. It's not Strong Table.
Okay.
It's Jacob.
Strong table is just a joke.
Yeah.
Funny joke.
Funny joke from me, Tom Ori.
All right then. Speaking of jokes, actually, this one could get rather serious. Shall I save this? Shall I save serious? I'll just go in. Alec Norton asks, given how much you joke about them, have you ever considered dropping the giving of scores on game reviews?
No, never. Because why would we?
Because we joke about them a lot, apparently.
Yeah, we should. It's with video games. It's video games. There are times to take video games seriously, says me, Tomori. But at the same time, you have to remember that they're video games, and the score is half the fun. And there are some idiots out there that take it too far, and when they debate, they become assholes. But the whole point is if it's up for debate, it's up to be chatted about, and people should just accept that.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And as the reviews editor, I do believe that the score is an important part. But I just want to get back to Tom. When you founded the firm, what discussions did you have regarding the scoring system? Because there's 5 stars.
We knew 1 to 10 straight away.
Yeah?
1 to 10 is just the easiest system. I don't like any of these point nonsense.
Yeah.
5 stars is too easy. It's too easy. A 3 out of 5 is not the same as 5 out of 10. Everyone knows that. 3 out of 5 reads better. So, be more aggressive with these things. So I think the 10 scale is the way to go. And also, no one reads reviews. Everyone pretends they read reviews. No, they don't. And everyone now comment going, well, I do. Well, you're in the minority. It's true. I have stats, man.
I mean, when was it that you founded the firm, actually? I'm struggling to grasp onto the date.
1972.
1970. God, it has been around for a while.
Oh, yeah. We were before the internet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We used to sit there and we used to write, we used to just write stuff on like see-through paper and just put it up
napkins.
on walls.
And the podcast was actually on small reel-to-reel projectors that you had to hand out to people. Distribution was a problem. We were
carrier pigeons.
Smoke signals, all that kind of stuff.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah,
Exciting
it was.
times
It was
in video
exciting. And
games.
now look how far we've come, says me, Tom Mori.
We've got a question here from Stevie G963.
who? Stephen Gerrard, Stevie me.
Stevie G963.
Okay.
That's got a nice ring to it, actually. Now I've said it the second time. Sorry about the first attempt. This isn't his question, but he thought he'd mention that he's found out that Steve Burns shares his name with the actor who played Steve in Blue's Clues.
I know that, obviously, because when I Google myself, he's still ahead of me.
Really? Oh, that must be frustrating.
Well, I don't actually.
Of course you Google yourself.
I've
Of
never
course
Googled
you
myself.
I
never
Google
have.
myself. I Google Tom Mori all the time.
Yeah.
I'm doing it right now.
Exactly.
No one knows.
No, but also Steve Burns is probably more famous for being a character played by Al Pacino in the 1980 movie Cruising.
All right,
Yeah.
good.
So I'm essentially just. It is depressing to think that the host of Blue's Clues is more famous than me.
It's a shame he's not here today, but there is a film called Who is Simon Miller? It aired on HBO, I believe, last 2 years ago.
That is amazing.
That's ruined my
How
Google, Simon Miller's Google search.
How
Ruined
did
it.
how did Miller feel about that when
I
it
don't
kind
think he's
of
very happy
Well,
about it.
he's a very emotional man, isn't he? I imagine he
He's a
weeps
solid human
openly
being.
and-
I think he's the leader of men, that boy.
No, boy.
I don't know what we'd do
you
without
often
him.
call Simon Miller that boy?
while we're off the record here, I think that Miller needs to just. I think he needs to worry.
You know, this is a
less.
good time to talk about Simon
Yeah,
Miller.
he needs to
actually.
worry less about stuff, and also, he needs to, just celebrate the fact that he's massively jacked up. I mean, he needs to start owning that, and stop worrying about how he looks, because it looks great. He is one of the best people.
Yeah,
But don't tell him that. Don't tell him that, because
tell him.
it'll go to his head.
I hugely dislike the chap, and ever since moving in with him for the purpose of #flatmates, I've regretted it.
It's funny you say that because he was mentioning something about P45 earlier.
Anyway,
and your head on a stick.
Stevie G's
These are a
actual
couple of things
question
he was talking about.
do you think the Cruise implementation of microtransactions alongside an initial price point is an okay alternative?
Sorry, I didn't get any of that.
The Crew is a full price video game.
Yes, sorry,
That has
yes.
microtransactions
Yes,
in it.
yes.
Is that all right?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Well, it depends how they're implemented, but probably not.
Well, when you say is it all, what do you mean? Is it all right? All right from what point? From what stand?
What's the justification for it on there?
Well, it depends when it starts overlapping into, say I'm playing Dave, and Dave beats me because he spent money and I didn't, then there's a problem. Because it's not balanced.
Especially when you've already spent money.
Exactly.
How is there unless it's cosmetic, how is there a situation where that doesn't happen?
That's what I mean. But I don't know how it unlocks. I don't know how it works. But if that is something you can do, if Dave's been playing for 100 hours and I've been playing for 30 minutes and I can be better than Dave, then what's the point?
Have they said
you broke a multiplayer straight away.
Have they said what you unlock with the
Performance parts is what they've said.
But
I believe that it may extend to cars. I don't know that for
Performance
sure, but I
parts.
imagine it might do.
So already it's treading on that line. Bullshit. I think if you can do a full price game and you want to have a competitive multiplayer, then.
But at the same
don't
time, there's only
do
one
this.
way to stop this. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. If nobody buys it, they won't do it again. So the power is in our hands. It's just a matter of ensuring that we use that power, like Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But they won't. People will buy this shit. And then how can you have a go at Ubisoft? If people then plough money into it, how can you point the money put the finger at Ubisoft and say, how dare you do this? Because if there's a market for it and people want to buy it, it's just supply and demand.
Oh yeah, I agree.
True fact.
It still fucking sucks.
Oh, it's terrible. It shouldn't happen. But if people are going to buy it, the problem lies with us. Nobody else.
All right, then. We've got 9193BB, doesn't rhyme or roll off my tongue quite as nicely as Stevie G. What do you think the next big video game genre will be? What do you think the next video game big video... What do you think the next big video game genre will be?
Multiplayer first-person shooters.
Well, there's an opening.
MMORPGs.
No, they're dead.
Particularly in a fantasy setting.
They're dead.
With,
Aren't they asking us to invent a new genre rather than predict what existing genre will become the big thing?
I would say that question can be both.
Platformers, but with
animal-based
tanks.
simulators.
I want to see the World War II game come back. I'd like a World War II shooter now. I think
I'd like a
time.
persistent World War II shooter.
Yeah,
I think persistence is something that people are like with Destiny and PlanetSide years and years ago. That developers are trying to make work, but persistence is a problem. How do you retain people? How if people don't play for a week and they come back and the world has changed? How do they get around that? But yeah, I'd love to see a World War II shooter, persistent. You pick a side, and you only get a certain amount of lives, as it were.
Didn't they do that?
So once
Wasn't there a World War One
you're out
trench
of
game?
It never came out to end all wars.
Yeah,
Is that what it was
never
called?
came out. Yeah,
but I'd love to see that. So,
I think that's I think that's the most interesting way forward for shooters at the moment. Definitely, I think that sounds awesome. PlanetSide 2 does a pretty damn fine job of it. But yeah,
but being able to feel that you're part of a much bigger war and not just a man running around a map with a gun.
All right, fair enough. Good answer, Steve. Phil Beckinsale asks, "Is it Miller Instinct or Scamel Jam today?" Well,
Miller's not here.
yeah. So you
I
can't do
actually
Miller
think-
Instinct.
I
Miller's not here.
I mean,
Come on, boys.
Tom, when you were on the podcast originally,
Yeah,
back in
back in the
1972, I hear you had a segment known as
It was called the Tom Ori Minute.
That's it. Yes.
We can do a Tom Ori
It's
Minute
going
if
to
you'd
be a
like.
good time to bring it back, perhaps.
Okay, we can do Tom Ori Minute. No problem.
All right.
No problem.
Well, here's the jingle that I've just found in the archives.
It's a Tom Ori Minute.
I know you didn't hear that, but I will have found a jingle in the
Okay,
archives.
that's good.
And
Jingle.
yeah, you've got 1 minute starting from the end of this sentence to talk about something that's happened in your life, your day-to-day life.
Okay, so I was on the bus
You're on the bus,
the other day.
tweeting about it, perhaps?
Yeah, I was tweeting on the bus, and there was a few people on that bus that I wasn't particularly. I didn't really like them.
Okay.
I wouldn't really call them my friends. They weren't acquaintances. They were strangers to me. When I looked into their eyes, I saw nothing but death, nothing but a lonesome.
A lonesome.
but like a lonesome child playing a sad song in the distance. And when I realised that I was on this bus and I was surrounded by people that I didn't know, that I was never going to know, I realised I was alone, and I realised there was nothing for me in this life. So I climbed out of the bus.
You climbed out of the bus.
I climbed onto the roof and I shouted, "Bus driver, hit these brakes, for I no longer want to live
in the world."
It's time for me, bus driver. And if you could put me out of my shame, if you could put me out of this hell that I now call life, you would have done me a service.
Yep. All right.
Just as that bus driver was about to hit those brakes, I saw a small boy on a swing. And as I saw that boy on a swing, and I saw the smile on his face, I realised that the children were the future. So I had a child.
Like your child, Strong Table.
Strong Table Jacob. And it stopped me from killing myself.
All right.
So I would just like to say, don't diss buses, because they may save your life. And that's this month's Tom Ori's Minute.
You've changed your view drastically from about 15 minutes ago, Tom, but that was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was
you very
beautiful.
Wow. Don't diss buses.
Yeah.
Children
Save
of
your
the
life.
future. They might
Children
save
of the
your
future.
life. Yeah.
Swings.
All right, good.
Whoa.
Well, I don't think we're going to top that with any more questions. So a final note before we head off. We've obviously got this month's podcast competition. After
Yes.
there we are. It's going to be a little while till we do a gallery video,
Oh,
Dave.
goodness.
Sorry. But yeah, of course. So we had 2K Australia have announced Borderlands, the pre-sequel, yesterday. And our staff writer, Brett Phipps, went along to the event, as you heard earlier. And whilst he was there, they did pull him over and ask for a little bit of a favour. Obviously, they're struggling with names for the series at the moment. The pre-sequel definitely wasn't, their top pick. They just... The idea ball wasn't there for them.
No, it wasn't. It was out.
So if...
It was in someone else's garden.
Yeah. So if you could, as a collective, come up with some alternatives to the
For the
pre-sequel.
Borderlands name?
Yeah. So
like Borderlands : Plant World?
or Borderlands 3.
Does it have to have Borderlands in it?
Probably because it's it's up to you. If you see some brave new direction for the series, then go ahead with it. But
Does it need imagery?
I think it would be
Box
nice.
art?
A box art would be lovely.
We want to show off your ideas
Or
in
an
our gallery
advert?
video.
Make a trailer. I'd appreciate trailers.
Anything-
Tomori loves trailers.
Anything you want to do to show it off visually. But yeah, they're really struggling with names.
Yeah.
Come up with some different ones for them because they're pretty much fucked for the future, name wise. And
Yeah, they're fucked, man. They're fucked. They're dead in the
they
water.
certainly are, Tom Murray. So yeah, there'll be a post thread on the Video Gamer forums. I'll put a link in the description if you're listening in some other location, you crazy cat, you. And yeah, Borderlands, do some stuff with that, please. That would be fun. You've got a month. Win a video game. Should probably
Jeez.
point that out.
Don't say that harshly.
You win a video game from shop2.net.
Up to the value of £50.
There we are. That's what I needed. And yeah, that's pretty good. You could maybe get a Borderlands game or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably, nah, you
Who
want
knows?
to get your money's worth, really, don't you?
Yeah, don't get Borderlands. Borderlands is terrible.
I wasn't saying that. I was
7
saying
out of
that you could probably pick up Borderlands for less than £50.
That's true.
So why not get something else?
Maybe
trade it in,
Shop2.net
and
are
then-
doing it on less than £50. Does anyone want to find out?
Yes.
Has to go to shop2.net.
All right, good.
Your one-stop shop for video games.
Nice.
Thanks,
All right.
man.
Well, that was
Appreciate
good. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. I'm going to say thank you to my lovely guests, not guests, co-hosts, what do you want to
Guests.
call them?
We're not your guests.
Stephen Burns,
Yes.
Tom Ari.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And thank you for, just being there always.
No worries, big guy.
It's all right.
And Mr. David Scammell.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.